Hello, everyone. How are you? How are you? We are back. Excuse me. This is season 7, episode 3 of the TERRAN Lamp Show. Thank you so much for joining me. It's so great to have everyone here each Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you again so much for joining me. I truly, truly appreciate it. We are here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you have a story, I would love to have you on the show. If you know someone who has a story, I would love to have them on the show. Just DM me, message me, hook it up. Whatever works for you, let me know. Okay. Ooh, hold on a second. Sorry. Okay. I'm back. Yeah, if you have a story, and I know you do, make sure you get in contact with me. If you know someone who has a story, and I know you do, make sure you get in contact with me. I would love to have them on the show as well. What was I about to say? Oh, my Cash App. I'm going to put my Cash App in the comments. And as you know, if you've been watching the show, anything given in the Cash App, please make sure you put Survivor in the comments. That will go directly to pay a cancer or heart disease patient medical bill, to help pay their medical bills. So let's get started. We have an old friend of the TERRAN Lamp Show. Let me get him on, and then I'm going to tell him something that I looked up today, that I researched. Kenny J. Hello, Kenny J. You're in the dark.
Hey,
there you are.
There we go.
Oh, man. Hold on 2 seconds for me. Hold on. Stay right there.
Okay.
Okay. I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay.
No problem. No
How
problem.
are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Old friend?
Say it again for me.
I said, how are you, old friend?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. I was just looking back, and you were on episode number 44, and now we're on 100, and you were over a year ago you were on. Can you believe it was that long ago?
It does not seem like it was at all.
Crazy town, right?
Right.
So thank you guys for, I mean, it's been, like I said, we're almost to 100. So it's about, I don't know if I calculated it right, in the mid-90s, because I'm doing it in seasons now, because that's how I put it on Apple Podcasts. So if you're watching, we are available now. I don't think when you were on the first time, Kenny J, we weren't on Apple Podcasts yet. So now you can listen
I don't think so.
to the show on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to it on YouTube, and of course on my IGTV, and all my guests have their episodes as well. And Kenny J is back. Kenny, I wanted you to, one, give us an update. I didn't, I want you to tell everyone about your, newfound surprise. I know, right? Almost to 100. Give us a little bit about what you were doing, and then give us a little bit about, what you have been doing since we talked to you last.
Okay, so I think the last time, I believe the last time that we talked, I was doing therapy, which I still am. I was doing mental health therapy, and I have my own practice where I do therapy for clients. I created it so I could kind of make therapy more accessible and more affordable for clients in the area. So that was one thing. And then I think one of the other things that we talked about was some of my community initiatives. We do like roundtable men's discussions, therapeutic discussions with my partner, Jasmine Spain and Stephen McGee, who have also been on the show before. And since then, I've published a book. So I guess that's the surprise that you referred to. I published a book, and it's called Poetry in Motion. It's a book comprised of 9 poems, I think 9, if I'm not mistaken, 9 or 10 poems where I just kind of walk through my life a little bit. I take people on a walk through my life. I talk about experiences that I had and where I was at when I was writing the poems.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it just because it's been an outlet for me, a form of expression, just to kind of express myself. A lot of times as men, we don't get a chance to get our feelings out there, and poetry and music were one of those things that helped me out, helped me to express myself. So I decided to publish and share with the world at that time. Well, I published in February. So we've been published for about 4 months now.
Well, congratulations. So if you guys are watching or listening, the link to Kenny's book is in my story right now. So you can get yours from the link in my story. So Kenny, we were kind of talking about this when we talked on the phone, and you've kind of mentioned it. You know, it was kind of like this is your way of kind of getting your emotions and feelings out to the world.
Right.
Also kind of told, you know, been told, and you and I have talked about it, about men, and particularly our men of color, not getting their feelings to the world. So
right.
What made you want to share your feelings with the world?
Well, I'll be honest with you. So in the past, when I was in high school, I would make music, and sometimes I would get that music out there to friends, and sometimes it would touch other people outside of friends. And I used that as an expression, but I got away from it. Just got busy with life, kind of forgot about that outlet. And a friend of mine kind of brought it back to my attention. I started doing these spoken word events just for fun, just to kind of do them for a friend to help her out. And another friend of mine pointed out that I have quite a bit of poetry that I was just sitting on at the time. So we were talking about publishing a book. And she was like, that would be a good idea for us to just put a compilation together. And then we just put our minds together and kind of came up with a concept. And I said, that would be good. A lot of the poems are older. So some of the poems are from when family members passed. They were poems that I wrote and spoke at their funerals. But I thought it was just a good way to kind of help people understand my story a little bit. And then also to give them courage to talk about their story. And part of the plan is to possibly do multiple series where I collaborate with others to make projects of their own, make compilations of their own. So
I think that's the piece I was kind of, I thought you might say is, you know, to help people understand that that's okay, right? There's so many, whether it's therapy or writing or music, there's so many different mediums, if you will, to get your feelings to the world or your expression to the world. That, you know, you picked this one, and hopefully others can see that that's okay, right?
Right.
This is
right.
fun, but that's okay. Were there any obstacles when you were trying to put it together? Did anything come up for you that you kind of were like, well, maybe I shouldn't put this one? Were there any obstacles that came in your way, or you just, you know, how did you kind of, you know, get through anything that came in your way?
As far as putting them out, I was good with all of them except for one. One I had to kind of sit with for a while because it was a little on the sensual side, I'll say. But when I sat down, I prayed about it, and I was like, I wanted to give a full picture. And I felt like it rounded the picture out of who I was. So I said, I'll go ahead. And what I do is in between, I kind of give a certain dialogue to kind of explain where I was in life and where it was coming from. So I just used that to kind of curve and explain where I was and where I am now in regards to the topic. So
just one gave you a little bit of pause, but then you just went on.
Yeah, just one.
Okay, great. But if you're just tuning in, this is the TERRAN Lamb Show episode, season 7, episode 3. This is Kenny J. Kenny J is a friend of the TERRAN Lamb Show. He was on a prior episode. If you look back, he was on episode 44 in March of 2021, so over a year ago. And now we've kind of converted into seasons because we are doing the podcast now, so it's easy to keep everything in seasons because it's on podcast and on YouTube. And again, this is my Cash App. So for those again who may be new to the show, the Cash App, if you donate to the Cash App, it's just a kind offering. It's not official 501c3, any of that nature. Put survivor in the comments, and whatever you donate goes directly to help a heart disease or cancer patient in need. We help pay their bills with whatever funds we raise from the show that that we raise from the show. So, and we're talking to Kenny J. So Kenny, what advice might you give someone, maybe in the publishing space? We've kind of talked about too in the therapy space, but you know, you've spent a lot, we've talked a lot today already about allowing people to get their voice out there. You know, is there specifically advice-wise, or even from the therapy standpoint, that you would, you know, give to someone, and it could be a man or woman in this particular, you know, question, who maybe try something and get their voice out to the world?
So starting from the therapy standpoint, I would say go do it. I would say just go ahead and put your story out there. There's strength in your story. Sometimes it can be scary to be that vulnerable, but what you'll find a lot of times, and what I found, what other people that I've worked with has found, is that when you put your story out there, there's a lot of people that can relate to it, and it gives them courage to start putting their story out there. So I say just jump out there and try. And from a publishing standpoint, same thing. Just put the material out and see what it does. And then you learn as you go. So like my first project, when I put it out, I was nervous and I was kind of reluctant because I didn't know how it would be received. And me and my partner that I worked with publishing it, we put it out there, but I was excited with the response that I got, and it gave me more courage when people came to me and they started to respond and reply, and I learned a lot from it. So as we go forward with publishing more publications, a lot of my new stuff will be on the therapeutic side. So we'll do some workbooks and things like that. But it helped me to learn more about the publishing game, more about the writing game. So I just say you got to get out there and get your feet wet, connect with people who have done it, and start.
So tell us about some of the work. I know I need to get Jasmine and Stefan back on too, but tell us about some of the work you're specifically doing, you know, with the young men, and specifically kind of in that arena. I want to revisit that a little bit, because I know, you know, that's near and dear to your heart as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. So ultimately, we have the ugoodbro platform, which has been going strong for a while now.
Good Bro, you should follow ugoodbro as well, by the way.
Definitely. You have to follow ugoodbro on all platforms. ugoodbro Inc. on Facebook, I believe. Well, all platforms. But it's a platform that we use, and it's been going for years now, a couple of years now. We use it as a safe space for guys to come and talk about topics that they normally wouldn't be able to talk about in their regular setting. So probably wouldn't be able to get that intricate with the conversation at work or at home. And it's just one of those things. It's almost like locker room talk or barbershop talk, but we bring specific topics and we bring experts in to kind of further indulge in those topics. And then I think it's been a year and a half now that we've started the podcast. So the podcast is available to everybody. That way we're able to extend the topics so people can start to see some of those conversations that Black males have in general. So the podcast, we review those topics and we talk about them so more people can have access and the world can just see some of those conversations and some of the things that we deal with.
Is the podcast You Good Bro too? I need to subscribe.
Yes, the podcast is You Good Bro. Again, available on all platforms. I usually use Spotify, but I know it's on iTunes, Apple Music. It's powered through Anchor. So it's on all of the platforms that Anchor powers, which is the major platforms. It's been going for a while now. I think
on Apple too, because that's how I do mine, through Anchor, and then Apple picked it up. So yeah. Right,
definitely. Yep.
Awesome. Well, I didn't know that, so that's good to know. I need to subscribe to myself for myself as well. So if you're, again, just joining me, this is the Terran Lamb Show episode, season 7, episode 3. Make sure you are liking, following, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff. We are here every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Did I say 6:30 earlier? I meant 7:30. I can't remember. 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're talking to Kenny J, who is a friend of the Terran Show and now officially an author. How does that feel?
Yeah. It's It's still new. I'll be honest. It's still new. It's funny because sometimes I go and do trainings and speaking engagements. And when I go back home, my mother loves to join and join me and just help in any way that I need to. So a lot of times when I'm finishing up, I can recall her at plenty of times whispering in my ear, tell them about the book, tell them about the book. And it's still new to me. So I'm not realizing like I should be making people aware of the book just in general, but I'm still getting used to just the title of author. Yes.
Oh, because you're like, oh yeah, I am an author.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I'm Kenny J, but I'm also an author.
Right.
So, oh, okay. I thought somebody was saying something. I was like, oh, there's somebody. So let me see. I know we got some hearts earlier from some of the stuff you were saying. So people are picking up what you're putting down. Again, everybody, make sure you're liking, following. Yes, I see some hearts flying right now. Liking, following, subscribing. Anything else you want to tell us about what does the future hold?
Ooh, for me, the main thing that I'm focusing on right now, honestly, is just expansion with the private practice.
Oh.
So I do have a passion for providing therapy to individuals, which is how we started. But I've also learned that I have a passion for the clinicians that provide the therapy as well. I've been in a lot of different sectors and just seeing some of the strain and the struggle that they may go through, just trying to navigate the politics of providing the services and trying to keep that self-care balance of providing the services. So now the idea is to expand the practice, bring some clinicians in, and just like try to create a model that hopefully can spread so people can get that quality service, but clinicians can also be covered and taken care of too. So that's my main focus right now.
So you're going to keep focusing on the client, but also focus on the clinician as well?
Right. I think sometimes that gets lost in certain sectors because
like, what does that, is there anything that you could give us that's like, what does that mean exactly? I mean, I get what it means, but I'm like, do you have any specifics right now, or are you just kind of like laying the groundwork for it?
Laying the groundwork for it, but some of it is going to be making sure that we keep the focus on the middle section. So I say that because the main resource is the clinician, right? A lot of times we focus on the clients, which I don't want to take away from that, but sometimes the dollar and the politics can get in the way of taking care of the main resource. We can't provide a service if we don't have the physical resource of the clinician. So just protecting them, making sure they get what they need in terms of training, support, like I said, self-care and everything that they need so we can have that proper trickle down effect.
Almost like that saying, I don't know, I'm not going to say it exactly right, but that saying, like, you can't help someone else unless you're helping yourself, like
100%.
Taking their cup full so that they're able to give and serve where they need to. I guess, but it's interesting we're talking about this because I was actually talking to someone about this the other day who knows someone that's a therapist, and they were talking about it just from that standpoint of, sometimes we forget, we as clients, because I go to a therapist, I'm in therapy, forget that you guys are people too.
Right. It can easily be forgotten, and from both sides. So for the clients, but also for the people who are benefiting at the top of the chain as far as business owners. Sometimes they can forget that we do bring in a nice amount of change as far as billing goes, but we're still human. And we experience burnout, and we experience life situations outside that can affect our sharpness and our ability to perform at a high level. So just kind of changing that structure to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I got to be honest, I did not think about that. So, it's good to see it's kind of, you're working from, from both ways. You're working from here up, down.
Right.
Do you foresee a lot of challenges trying to do that?
It's intimidating. I'll be honest. It's intimidating. I feel like I have a gift that will play its part in it. So I feel like once we can get the structure together and we can get the business aspect and the structure, like once we can get the structure together, I think I have the model and the theory that's going to go into place. But I do feel like it's going to be a task.
Yeah, because you have to have it seems like you would have to have a lot of people on board.
Right. Right.
A lot of people to say yeah, you know.
Right.
So I want to go back before we close, back to your book, because is there anything that you would like to share from us out of the book? I don't know. Are the poems long? Is there any poem specifically you'd like for us to watch out for or share with us or anything of that nature?
So, as far as it's been say it again.
You're laughing.
No, because I thought you were asking me to actually perform one of the poems, and it's tough because I knew them, I had them down packed, but it's been a while since I've done any of them. I will say my personal favorite, some of my personal favorites in there. One of them is the poem "Justice," which I believe is the first poem, and it's a poem that was written just about the social climate when we were dealing with police brutality, and it came from a place of just wanting to see change. That one really came from a deep place, and it's multifaceted because at the time when I wrote it, I was working at the community college out here in Greenville, Pitt Community College, and I was over top of a minority male mentoring program. So I was actually counseling young Black males and seeing their response to these type of situations. So a lot of that was placed in there. So it's my voice, but in my opinion, it's a portion of their voice in there as well, from just the hurt I was seeing when working with them. So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's tough, huh?
Yeah. Yes,
because
definitely.
you're also facing it too, and then you're having face it. So you're trying to figure it out yourself.
Right.
You know, and you're kind of in their shoes. They might be a little younger. There might be an age difference there, but for all purposes, you're in their shoes too. Right. You know, so that's true. Emotional any way you look at it.
That's true.
Wow, that must have been tough, I think. I mean, I guess
it was a lot. It was a lot of emotion. So it was a toughness to it, but
maybe heavy is the right word. Heavy.
Right. 100%. Definitely. But that actually, for me as a writer, it inspires me. So a lot of my best pieces, in my opinion, come from places when I'm in a very thought-provoking place. So heavy topics like that, relationships, breakups, and things like that, I usually write my best material when it comes to being in those places.
You and Mary J. Blige.
Right. Right.
She's great. She just won like some icon award, I think.
I saw them.
Yeah, and Janet Jackson gave it to her. I was like, man, if that's not two icons sitting up there.
Right. Right.
So for those who are just joining, maybe this is the TERRAN Lamb Show, Season 7, Episode 3 with Mr. Kenny J. So Kenny J, anything else you'd like to tell us about that you've been up to since the last episode, which I don't, like I said, was like over a year ago. So anything in the last year that you've, done or would like to share with us that we haven't talked about today?
No, everything has still been on track. Like I said, continuing to push You Good Bro forward. I feel like it's developing. We're getting more eyes and ears on the topic, so that's a good thing.
Tell us more about You Good Bro.
So You Good Bro, again, for those just tuning in, it's a roundtable therapeutic platform where we get to go in and we get to talk about those tough subjects, those real subjects that we can't talk about in every setting. So I tell people to think about like locker room talk, but on steroids, or barbershop talk, but on steroids. And we add kind of a therapeutic component to it. And I don't want people to be scared by that. But what I'm saying is we create a structure where it's safe, but it's also thought-provoking. So we challenge ideas and just continue to just open conversation and kind of create dialogue, hopefully in hopes that people can be healed if they're dealing with things that might be too heavy for them, but also that the conversation can be carried outside of the room.
And I think, if I can't remember, were you guys getting ready to have an event the last time?
So more than likely, you're talking about the main summit. So the main summit. So the way it is, You Good Bro is under the main initiative umbrella.
Uh-huh.
The main initiative umbrella, and like I said, Jasmine Spain was on the show before. The main initiative umbrella, Jasmine Spain is the CEO, and main stands for Males Addressing Issues and Needs.
Yeah.
So it's a platform to provide those type of development spaces for guys in professional areas and in personal areas. So You Good Bro comes under that umbrella, but one of the other things under that umbrella is the main summit. Yearly, we come in and we do the main summit where we usually target high school males and college males, and we just help them develop. So it's a day. Well, actually, I don't know. It may be going to 2 days. Don't quote me on that though. But it's a day where we go in and we just bring in dynamite speakers. We bring in dynamite trainers, and they just come in and they just provide great information for the guys, and we just hope that they go away with something that can help them develop and just prosper in their next steps in life.
Is there one in 2022, or has it been?
Yes, there will be one in 2022, and it's in October. I don't know the specific dates. I have the flyer, but I think it just got slated within the last month.
Okay.
So I do know the dates are in October, but what I can do is definitely get you that flyer, and you can get that information out to anybody who
Yeah.
needs.
So you guys gotta tag me on the flyer. I'll try to, maybe I'll recircle around with yourself or Jasmine or something, before then. But I definitely want the
Sounds good.
because you know
Sounds good.
about the T-shirt. I am repping You Good Bro all the T-shirt. And for those who don't know about this T-shirt, Kenny J and I were talking about when we were talking on the phone. We don't know. It's made of Egyptian cotton. I don't know what, but it is
So
the softest thing.
right. It's interesting that you say that because remember I told you that I had printed a couple of my logos on one. So I've actually, let me see if I can adjust this. I've actually wore it today. I wore it today, not even thinking. But God Sent Productions is my overhead that covers the book. It's the one that published the book, and it's my overhead that publishes all of my media content. So God Sent is my logo, and I had the lady print up some just for my personal use. But I've been getting so much feedback that we may be seeing these go on sale soon. But I love it. I love the material. I got you. I got you. You get one in the mail for free. I got you.
Apologize in advance because I already told you what I did with the one I had. I rep it.
No, you're fine.
But
You're fine.
I repped it with my good. So
right.
Okay, so since the last show, I've added a final question, and I bet you don't know what, because no one actually listens to prior shows, so that is okay because it's done for everybody.
Gotcha.
It came from, okay, so if you're just tuning in, this is the TERRAN Lamb Show, Season 7, Episode 3. If you follow me at all, and if you don't follow me at all, and you're going to follow me now, you'll know that I'm a cat lady. I'm a crazy cat. I gotta admit. So, and you know what they say, curiosity, the cat. So,
right.
A final question. What are you curious about? I know everybody.
That's a good one. I like it. What am I curious about? And I think I may have seen that question when you interviewed my frat brother Mitch, Dr. J. Mitch.
Yeah.
Did you ask him that question?
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing it at the end. What am I curious about? I'm actually, this is going to be, I feel like this might be cheating and getting the way out, but I'm honestly curious about what the future holds in general. I feel like God has me on a path to change some things in the near future, and I'm really on a faith walk where it's almost like I'm blindfolded, walking down steps, and the only thing I can do is feel for the next step and just go down one level. But if I continue to, I will make it to the end and I can take the blindfold off. Just excited about what the next steps are. I can tell that it's going to be something game changing, but I'm just putting the hand to the plow and taking it a step at a time.
I love it. Okay, so we are, I think we're done. Oh, Kenny J, look, my phone is busted, so I can't even see the time because it's cracked. But that's a whole no. I refuse to get another iPhone. I refuse.
I get it. I get it.
Total,
I get it.
until just we have have a total meltdown over here. This is the TERRAN Lamb Show, guys. Episode season 7, episode 3. Kenny J is a friend of mine and a friend of the show, and I just appreciate all the work you're doing, Kenny. I mean, I just think it's so important what you're doing. In all seriousness, getting this out there for our men, and particularly helping them and loving on them, and doing those things that sometimes I gotta say only other men may be able to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think we as women, we can do a lot, right? But it's just so good for our men to hear from their friends, their boys, like you said.
Right.
So
Right.
I truly appreciate all you're doing. I hope that we continue to stay in touch. You guys, if you would like to be on the show, please let me know. I would love to have you on the show. This show is about this. This show is about sharing stories. As Kenny said, everyone's got one, and that's kind of how I started the show, just learning. And I love hearing everyone's stories. If you know a friend who would like to be on the show, I would love to have them too. You can not Facebook. What's this? Instagram message. If you have my cell phone, you can also text message me. If you know Kenny J has my cell phone, so he can pick it up. And make sure you're liking, following, and subscribing. We're on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and of course here on IG Live. And we are 1 minute over, so sorry, guys. Kenny J, always good to talk to you. Please make sure you stay in touch. And if I see those shirts out there before I get one, it's not going to be good.
I got you. I got you. You will be the first on my list. You will know before anybody else.
All right, man. Good to yourself.
All right.
And each other. And I'll see you guys here next week on the TERRAN Lamb Show. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.